What happened last night,
Oof, this
you
was
know
tough.
how
Oh,
absolutely frightening that was. Victor Wembanyama,
man.
right on the jaw as he hit the floor in San Antonio. Man, when you saw him try to get up too, he was out of it. And a concussion there in game 2. Watch this right here, yeah. So he is in concussion protocol, and to get the very latest, Charania staying up late with us. And Shams, thanks a lot for doing that, because I know you get information that's pretty fresh on what's going on with Wemby.
Fellas, yeah, let's get right up to the second. I'm told Victor Wembanyama was able to participate in cardio work here late Wednesday because his symptoms didn't worsen. He wasn't feeling worse than he did when he suffered that concussion. And as of right now, my understanding is he is hopeful that he'll be able to travel with the team to Portland on Thursday. But whether he's able to clear concussion protocol in time to play in Game 3 on Friday in Portland is an obvious question and jeopardy for the Spurs, because there are guidelines and protocols when it comes to the concussion policy. 48 hours after suffering the concussion is when Victor Wembanyama would be able to, without restrictions, participate in activities. Within 24 hours, you're able to have at least light activity, which is what he was able to do today, because his symptoms didn't worsen. So that is the one good piece of news for the Spurs, that he was able to come in and do that. But overall, this is a process that's going to be seen by not only the Spurs medical staff, but the league's concussion protocol director. And he has to check boxes every single day. He has to clear neurological exams every single day. And what we know about the Spurs is they're going to always err on the side of caution, especially with someone like Victor Wembanyama. And what we also know with concussions is it's not always a straight line. So the Spurs are taking this day by day. We'll know more on Thursday about whether he'll be able to play on Friday.
So my question would be, how does that affect the ability to fly? I mean, obviously you say it's obviously we're looking at a small little window. Is he able to fly tomorrow? I mean, that'd be my question.
So, Chuck, my understanding is the Spurs have a team flight early afternoon on Thursday. And so he's going to go in there tomorrow morning, most likely like he did today, and undergo more testing as far as the neurological exams that take place. They're going to examine him. They're going to see how he does. How are his symptoms? Not sure exactly what symptoms he has right now, but as of right now, clearly they weren't worse enough from yesterday that prohibited him from at least starting light activity. And so they're going to have him go through tests and see where he's at. And then their medical staff, the league's protocol director, they'll all need to huddle every step of the way here to see what he can and can't do, and ultimately when he needs his clearance.
If a player falls like Victor did and gets up and says, I'm okay, put me back in the game, do you still have to go through the concussion protocol, or can you just tough it out?
That's a great question, Shaq. I think if Wemby felt like that and came back in the game, I mean, it's human nature. How do you handle that situation? But I think eventually there's always team doctors that are going to then aid the player and see how the player is doing on a mental level. But you could see right there, as soon as Wemby hit the floor, the thud he had, thankfully for him, there was no fractured jaw, there was no facial injuries. He avoided all that. It's just a simple concussion. But, every concussion has a lot of complexities to it. And he ran immediately right to the back. So he knew immediately exactly what happened. But that's a good question, Shaq. I'm sure you, plenty of times in your career, you might have been hit hard enough to where you could have said you had a concussion.
Sure. He was.
Well, we just surprised you said it was a good question.
Yeah. It's a simple concussion unless it happens to you.
Exactly.
Shams, thanks a lot for the time. We appreciate all the latest information, and we'll see you down the road, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And he's, the deal with him too, like tomorrow, if he can't travel, he could travel Friday. He could travel on game day if he's not able to travel tomorrow.
Yeah, because I was wondering how, if he's able, he said he was able to do some light stuff today.
Yeah.
I don't know how flight affects a concussion.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing is, there's no dress rehearsal. to play against Wembanyama. There's no one on your team that you could put on the scout team and go, all right, you're going to be him today. And we're going to do this, and this is because of his skill set, his size, his athleticism, his prowess. There is nothing like it. So also there's nothing like the Spurs. What are you guys, man? Listen.
Why are you looking at me, Godfather?
You know good and well.
Him looking at
You know good and well you can't give another big man a compliment with Shaq sitting on the stage. Come on, man. You know good and well you can't do that.
He started looking at me.
Shaq, come on, man. You cannot give another big man a compliment with big
I'll rephrase it. You can't do that with Wembanyama, and you couldn't do it.
Okay, thank you. That's all you have to say.
By the way,
I'm laughing at him.
You laughing because I know. I looked at him, Shaq, like.
by the way, Spurs.
Hey, this is
Spurs
Shaq.
12-6
We give
without
a big man a
Wemby.
compliment.
12-6 without Wemby, just in case you can't go in game.
Come on, man.
Don't listen to him, America.
We're gonna take another break.
There you go. The Hawks up there.
Kate.
What was said in the locker room to cause what you guys did in that third quarter?
We got to do a better job, keeping them off the offensive glass, continuing to keep our defensive intensity up and getting out and running and just executing. I think we did a lot better job of that second half.
JB had some words in the locker room. I think that lit a fire under us to, even press even more and, just separate ourselves. He does a great job at doing that. To say the right things that, to get us going.
No more of my bads. It's like they're out there hustling, getting offensive boards on us, and there's too many of them. Who's able to find that little spark?
When we play defense at the level we're capable of, it triggers everything for us. We can be an elite defensive team, a disruptive defensive team that pushes and gets us transition easy baskets, and that's what we did.
I think the term is overmodulated on that, Mike, but you got the gist. 98-83 is your final.
I think you saw that Cade had 11 assists. That was important. He only had 4 the last game.
Well, you said 11 today.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, thank you.
The other thing, remember we talked in the pregame show about that points in the paint from game 1 when Orlando crushed them 54-34. Tonight it was 54-34 the other way, and Detroit ties the series at a game apiece. Still, they've lost the home court edge as they head to Orlando.
Lost the home court edge, but they found themselves. I thought they, being a number 1 seed, you're coming into the playoffs. There's a lot of expectations for the first time in Detroit, and you went back to it. They hadn't won a playoff game in 11 straight times at home. But there's a great expectation. I think that we're a little overwhelmed. And now they've kind of settled in to what they have been doing during the regular season. This is a team that they have a lot of defensive prowess, but they have to win the matchup between Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson and Asad Thompson when they're on the floor. They have to win those matchups.
To me, Orlando was satisfied with the game 1 win. They played with them pretty much even the first half, but then when Detroit turned the pressure up, Orlando just kind of said, you know what, we're going to let you guys do what you do, and that's why they went on that 30-3 run. They're happy with, still in the first game. Most teams with the killer instinct going to say, okay, we got number 1, let's go get 2. So again, they were satisfied with the game 1 win. I think game 3 would be much different in Orlando.
Yeah, I agree with Shaq. I think they just like, okay, we got our split, because they didn't even try once halftime. They came out mentally like, let's don't just give up. Then when that
11-0 run,
yeah, that was over. But it's very simple. Who's going to help Cade and Jalen Duren score? It's very simple. Orlando, to me, have more weapons. And Kenny said, it's got to come down to Thompson. It's got to come down to Tobias Harris. Who else?
Robinson.
Duncan Robinson. You got to score. The NBA Today game is you just can't win by playing defense. You got to score. You got to score, at least in my opinion, you got to get to 105 points.
Because the two, you think about that, Chuck, Cade Cunningham and Duren, really only one of them is a real scorer.
Yes.
So if he
That's why Cade's assist is important.
Right.
He gets Duren involved.
Because if he gets 30 and Duren gets 20,
that's only 50.
That's only 50 points. You got to get some more baskets somewhere else.
But to me, Tobias Harris is a guy who's got to step up. He's a veteran. he should go in with the mindset, I got to get 20. I got to get 20.
Duran's a 19 and 10 guy, but he's struggled so far.
Yeah, but 19, like I said, 30 and 19.
But that's
is
up
only
to Cade,
49,
though.
You know,
that's what I said before the game. Cade's got to play like LeBron did in Game 1. He's got, because Duran, I think I like him a lot as a player, but he's not a scorer. But it's up to Cade to get him scores.
He had 11 and 9 tonight. So somebody's streak is going to end when this series is complete, because Orlando hasn't won a series since 2010. They've had 6 straight first-round knockouts.